Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my dear friends. This is Dr. Shama Hussain. Impacting, igniting, and influencing. Impacting, igniting, and influencing. I. This is what we International Institute of Influencers are on the mission. Our Global Express TV, as you know very well, creating impact in the lives of the people by bringing you lots of programs to knock the door of positivity. You know, my dear friends, today we have such a wonderful personality with us from New Zealand. And this personality is an incredible person who doesn't show what he is doing, but he creates impact and influence in the lives of the people. That is the vision of our 100 top global influencers. We bring you those people who are really creating impact in a silent mode. In a silent mode, I can say, silent and vibration mode, exactly. Mm-hmm. To introduce this wonderful personality, I would like to tell a small story to all of you. There was a small boy, and this small boy, you know, as usual, likes to eat ice cream. So he has come to eat an ice cream in a restaurant. And one lady, she comes to him, the bearer, and asked him, "What do you want to eat?" He said, "I want to eat an ice cream, and may I know what is the price of special Sunday ice cream?" The lady, she tells, "It is $25. It is $25. Then the boy, he just put inside his pocket the hand and finds something. And then he comes back and he asks, "What is the price of normal ice cream?" Then the lady says, "It is $15. You know, normal means immediately she said, $15. And then the boy started thinking for a while. He was thinking Sunday normal. Sunday normal, Sunday normal. You know, he was thinking that. Meanwhile, this lady got so frustrated. She got so frustrated and she said, "Tell me, please, what you want. I have lots of people waiting for. I have to attend them as well." Then the boy finally says in a very slow voice, in a very peaceful voice, "I will take normal ice cream. Give me normal ice cream." And that lady goes, she brings that normal ice cream, she just put it on the table, and she leaves the place. The boy peacefully has that ice cream, and after having that, he pays the bill and he leaves that place. The lady comes to collect the bill. The lady comes to collect the bill. And when she comes to collect the bill, she finds something that burst her into tears. Can you imagine that? She starts crying. She just burst into tears. Why? She was so arrogant right now. Just before 5-10 minutes, she was arrogant. And now she started bursting into tears. Why? Because that boy has impacted her personality. How? In that bill, she found $25, not $15. She found $25, not $15, my dear friends. But he thought, you know, when he asked that lady for the normal ice cream and Sunday ice cream, the differences, because he wanted to give her also something before leaving the place. So he was calculating the amount for himself as well as for her. This is called as proactiveness, my dear friends. A leader, to influence, you need to be proactive in life. It's very difficult, I can say, very difficult to be proactive because we don't read what's happening before others. This boy, with his proactiveness, he has completely changed the personality of that woman. She will never behave the same with anyone again. With anyone again, she will be very proactive. She will read the minds of the people, what they want exactly. So this is called an influencer. An influencer is a person who will wipe out all the negativities, who will wipe out all the fadiness, who will bring brightness, who will bring positivity, who will impact, who will ignite, and finally influence and becomes a leader. This is what our today's personality as well, who is trying to be very proactive. And from the first day that I know Mr. Adams, he is such a wonderful personality where with his mannerism, with his behavior, whenever I speak to him, I feel that mannerism again. I try to imbibe that. I try to imbibe that etiquette whenever I speak to him. And I always even refer to my family as well. Such a kind gesture that he follows when they're introducing till the end of the speech, till the end of the talk, he maintains that decency. So that's what, my dear friends, our top influencer today, Mr. Adam Greenwell from New Zealand. He is the principal of Adam Greenwell Consultancy. It's not only one role he's playing. There are so many roles. Even his family is such a prestigious and esteemed family that has served the whole world in a royal way. So there are limitless personal functions that Mr. Adam is doing, with starting from normal common man to the royal personalities. He's advising, he's playing advisor roles, lots of roles he's playing in influencing the society. So that is what our honor today, having Mr. Adams with us in our prestigious show of Top 100 Global Influencers. So Mr. Adams, we, International Institute of Influencers, warmly welcome you in our Top 100 Global Influencers. We are welcoming you, Mr. Adams. A few words of yours.
Well, thank you so much for that wonderful story, Dr. Sharma, and that introduction. I'm quite humbled by it. I was actually saying to a friend today, apparently I'm an influencer before coming on here. And my family said, well, you've done this and you've done that. And I think that the point of, I think, having an impact on other people's life is not to be aware of it. Just to have a heart that is hoping to add value to other people's lives. That's what I hope to do. That's what I try to do. And I have my moments like anyone else. I have my run-ins with other people and so forth. But I think as what we're going to learn, both of us at the end of this discussion, is influence, being able to make those positive impacts comes from the solidarity of working together. And you've demonstrated that so well, Dr. Sharma, yes, with what you've been doing and your leadership.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adam. This is the support I have with the enormous support of international influencers like you. Thank you so much, Mr. Adam. So, dear friends, I think you have noticed Mr. Adam, he's influencing you all in his unique attire also today, in Indian dress he's wearing. And in a very special way, he has come up to the program. We really admire his way of presentation today. And so let's get set, ready everyone to the roller coaster ride of influencing with Mr. Adams. So Mr. Adams, we would like to know a very interesting question. Influencing and leadership. How do you think? Because do you think both of them are integral part, influence and leadership, or are they separate entities? What do you think, Mr. Adams?
Oh, definitely integral. Now, I think, Dr. Sharma, when we look at influence, it's actually related to the word influenza, which is it's actually that it comes from the same root word, even though one, I hope, is much more positive than the other, but the influence is inflowing.
Okay.
Leadership is being able to inspire confidence that whatever you're saying or doing makes people want to join you. So, of course, they're integrated in that the leader has an influence. There's good things flowing into the leader. The leader talks to the people he or she wants to bring with him or her. And that's where I think influence and leadership are connected. Yeah.
So that it's something special today that I have learned, that influence comes with influence, and wonderful. Yes, what you said is right, because as it spreads all over the body, and that is exactly influence spreads. So exactly, Mr. Adams, it's a wonderful and very sharp answer that you have given to us. So, Mr. Adams, what do you think now, as suppose I'm an influencer, so what roles, what are the etiquettes? How can I identify a person standing before me? Suppose a person is before me now. So how can I identify him? What are the etiquettes that I can follow on to know that he's an influencer or an influencer to follow? What are they? Suppose there are new people who are trying to become influencers. They are trying to learn what is an influencer. So can you suggest some of the etiquettes, Mr. Adams, to be an influencer?
I think trust. We live in one of the comments that I heard from the APEC conference last year, which New Zealand hosted remotely because we were in the middle of the pandemic. One of the words that came out was trust deficit. That in order to address things, we've got to bring people together, bring people to the table. However, there's a lot of misinformation out there. Some of that's intentional. Some of that's just misinterpretation, like incomplete communication, or just the communication is inadequate. That's probably the polite way of saying it. So whether that's intentional or not. So in order to recover that, how do we restore trust? So the key word is, how can we trust each other? You and I are operating as a matter of trust, and you and I and many people that we've never met, we rely on remote business. We rely on building relationships with people across many thousands of miles. And I think that starts with the ability to communicate, authenticity, having a specific insight about an area of expertise and having knowledge in that area too. So in my particular case, I base what I do on connecting the world's finest minds with the world's finest technologies in and from my small base in New Zealand. Now, I stand by that because I make sure that every single person I connect with or sign an MOU with is a particular leader in their field of endeavor. Now, that might be in academia, it might be in entertainment, it might be in science, it might be in technology, but these people have specific credentials. You see, they're going to bring about trust, they're going to instill faith and professionalism, they're going to look authentic, and they're going to provide specific insight.
Wonderful, Mr. Adams. It's wonderful. I was just flowing on what you are telling, and I was trying to imagine the situations. Trust. Yes, without trust, you will not come here and I will not connect to you. Yes, what you said is very right. Without trusting me, my values and this, you will not come up here. Yes, exactly. And authenticity, yes, that is a very important thing. No, wow, Mr. Adams, I'm really amazed to know these things with the examples that you have given from the conference that held in New Zealand about the trust deficit. It's really one of the valid example, I can say, where the people has done the statistics of that. It's wonderful. I think all our viewers are knowing that what are the real etiquettes now, and please try to work on this, because if we don't have, no problem, we can work on still to become an influencer in this way. Thank you so much, Mr. Adam, for this wonderful answer. And Mr. Adam, right now, we are in a situation called as post-pandemic world. We are in this world where and challenges are existing a lot. Uncertainties are existing a lot. So how do you visualize this post-pandemic world? Means, are we, as an influencer, because most of the people now finish, the world is very bad, we are going to have lots of problems now. Means, like, if you will see people, they will tell Corona, oh my God, it's coming up. Means everywhere the negativity prevails. So as an influencer, how do you visualize this Are there any hopes? Or positivity will prevail? There will be peace? Will there be lots of education? Will there be, how will be? What is your visualization for this world, Mr.
I'm very pleased that you've asked me that, because one of the milestones of my life, unfortunately or sadly, the So the idea behind that, after the Second World War, the United Nations was set up. UNESCO would be the conscience of the United Nations, and peace and security would be advanced through the cooperation of education, science, and culture. So what my network are doing in parallel with that is having an alternative to member states of UNESCO, where you're looking at governments, heads of state, ambassadors, and foreign ministers largely being in speaking for that group in UNESCO, and assisting UNESCO by having citizens working for the same thing: the advancement of peace and security, education, science, and culture. And as you rightly ask, there has to be criteria or standards. So when we talk about peace, what do we mean? Well, a good thing to do is to go back to the United Nations resolutions, which all member states agree with. And we have the United Nations Resolution 1325, Women, Peace and Security, meaning we've got to make education available for women, we've got to stop gender discrimination and so forth. Women, peace and security going together. Okay, that's good. So, right, that's a good milestone. Who do I talk to about it? A person who's actually become a very good personal friend is a world expert on that very subject. So there's this peace and security. Then, of course, you have the International Year of Human Fraternity. That's another resolution which grew out of the Pope and the Imam of Egypt, or the Sheikh of Egypt, just agreeing for dialogue, interfaith dialogue, and greater understanding. And that was in 2019. So after that, in 2021, we have a new UN resolution. So you see what we're saying here is that as private citizens that don't have the apparatus of governments, but people of goodwill, we really need to know what we're talking about. We really need to know what we're doing. And then that comes back to education. Partnership with UNESCO has also led to dealing with a particular university. Science, let's try and get all the technologies to help the poorest spots in the world. And that's energy, food, water, waste management, of course, infrastructure. And then infrastructure is another thing. You'll find the countries in the world with the best infrastructure developments also have the best governance or the best management of resources. And I don't want to sort of like say these are the best countries, but it's being factual. That someone actually said all around the world there's the trust deficit. There's also the infrastructure deficits as well. We do need more bridges and roads and pipes, and water treatment and all this sort of thing. And somebody came to the conclusion that this particular country leads the world, and it also has good governance. It's transparent in the way that governs, you see? So You're looking at all of these things and you're thinking, okay, I'm a private citizen. Should I really be bogging my mind down with that? I need to pay my bills. Why am I doing all this as a private citizen? It isn't my business. But then if you are to be part of an international movement of people that are truly doing good things in the world, you need to avail yourself of that information. So that's why I set up a company called Greenwell Agency. That's why I've signed documents and tried to do everything properly over the past 3 years or so. Yeah.
That's wonderful. That means you are giving a hope So you have given so many, you have listed out so many reasons where these all things can work out together to bring the positivity in the world. Yes, agreed that UNESCO is playing a wonderful role in education and scientific research. And people like you are bringing so many organizations together to work with the UNESCO and integrate this positive influence on the world. Definitely, we need these type of initiatives, as you said, in terms of food, in terms of water, in terms of energy, in terms of all the things like these organizations are working. And you are doing an amazing job, Mr. Adams, and collaborate, bringing lots of collaborations in the world together at one stop and influencing the world. That's what I said. That you are doing, you are in silent mode influencer. That's the reason I said you're a silent mode influencer. We're bringing people together and not taking your name. But God's grace, it's wonderful. And we respect all your work that you are doing, Mr. Adams. So now my very unique question, Mr. Adam, now, which people take it in a very, I don't know, some people take it as a proud, wipe out this misunderstanding from your terms, Ms. Adam, among the people right now?
Mm-hmm. Because I think Dr. Sharma, you've raised a very important point about what we discussed earlier, that with what you're doing, and I'm delighted to be part of, and with what my company does, there's going to be a brand. Like I've got a brand which is a cherry that my late mother painted, so I put that on my brand. And the cherry also represents regrowth and rebirth and the sweetness in each moment and so forth. But in order for that brand to grow and grow, I need to interact with other brands, and same as yours as well. You've got a brand III now that you've got your brand, you see. And then in order for your brand to grow, other people, other major brands are going to come over and say, hey, we want to be part of this, you see. So the question is sort of like a both and, or the answer to the question. Instead of saying either I have a brand that I advance or follow another brand, what we're finding, because the work that we stand for is so important, we've got to hold up our brand and put our brand out there in association with other brands that want to work with us. And a good example of that is one of the members, I won't name the person, but one of the members of III and a friend of mine, a mutual friend of ours, started an organization recently. And by 2026, he wants to have X amount of resources to combine the wealth and the resources to impact, invest, and support people. Now, he is already dealing with major names and major brands. But of course, he's got a brand as well. But it's the interacting with the other brands that are going to grow his brand.
Wonderful, Mr. Adam. Hi, Miss Brenda. Hi, Miss Brenda.
Oh,
Great
hello.
to see you. We missed you for a while.
I'm sorry, my internet sometimes first thing in the morning is really crazy, and it's terrible weather, so it doesn't make. I've been panicking. I do apologise sincerely because I'm not usually late.
No, not at all, Miss Brenda. So we were just asking about the brand to Mr. Adams, Miss Brenda. So, dear friends, now we have Miss Brenda Dempsey. As you know very well, she doesn't need any introduction. She is back to support you all again, to support this wonderful show, International Institute of Influencers Global Express TV. Is the heart of the show as well. And so I request Ms. Brenda to
Yeah, I've got something
show.
I'd like to say based on the last answer, if that's okay. So that was a wonderful, wonderful answer, Adam, because it goes to the very heart of who I am, and that's collaboration. So when you can bring great brands together, it's going to make something even more wonderful, particularly when they're aligned and they're value-driven. So therefore, I heard every word that you said, and I thoroughly agree that if you're creating a great brand of your own, a brand of service, of making a difference, of bringing value, and you connect and collaborate with these other brands, it can only be a great thing for others in the world. So it was music to my ear when I heard you saying that. And it actually leads on into the next question is, who has been the biggest influencer in your life?
My goodness. There's many of them at a spiritual level and at a personal level, academic level, but the one in terms of grassroots and everyday people, it would have to be John Lennon. And it took me a while, because you always examine yourself, you know, you think, well, what's it about this guy? And I found he really helped the songwriting craft, not just of myself, but many people. Like, you could even say, there are some people that say the two Swedish guys from ABBA were better songwriters than Lennon and McCartney. There are some people that even think that, because their music's fantastic, but both of them say Lennon was an influence. And so the first answer, the first part of the answer is a great line that Lennon had: say what you mean, make it rhyme, and put a beat to it. And that even applies to hip hop. It applies to any genre.
Say what and apply.
And then the second part of the answer as to why he was an influence is because I remember as a child, I spent my early childhood in England, and I couldn't get over seeing just four guys playing guitar, because we watch Top of the Pops and people are like having a dance, but this was the next level. The Beatles are playing and people are screaming, going into hysterics. But when the guys opened their mouths, they were like the people in your neighborhood. And there was even a Lennon bakery. Lennon's quite a common Irish name, and McCartney. So these are people that are once this huge, Lennon represents this huge global phenomenon, but he also represents the people that were in my neighborhood, especially now that I'm living 12,000 miles away from where I first grew up.
Yeah, that is a big distance, Mr. Adam.
It is, but you know what I mean? This is why we're all thinking this way. We've got sort of like our local grounding and our local concerns, but we do care about humanity and the natural environment. So forth.
And also with John Lennon, I was recently in New York and went to, Central Park, just outside the apartment where he was shot, and they've got the circle and all that there. And it was amazing. So did he also influence you in his whole way of living and putting peace at the centre of that life?
Yes. Yes and no, because the reason why we loved the guy so much is he wasn't perfect by any stretch, but and I think I'm drawn to him because he was, not really a peaceful person. He was a bit of a scrapper, and he had a short wick. But I think it's because he aspired to something bigger than himself.
Yes,
that was it, because there were many. I mean, there were spiritual leaders, there were great writers, there are great thinkers that do inspire us towards peace, but he just fell flat on his face and got up again and had a go, and he'd say things like, war is over if you want it. And you think, yeah, well, put all these posters up in the middle of the Vietnam War, and you think, how effective is that going to be? But over time it was. Sing and give peace a chance.
And I think that's right, and I think that gets rid of the microwave mentality that's in a lot of today's people, because anything that's worthwhile happens over time. just like the III is growing, and it's growing great, but over time, you know, everything is over time, as you'll know. And I think that having peace and getting up and falling down, great resilience. You say, you know, it's not about perfection. It's about having a go and aiming for excellence, because none of us are perfect, you know. We make mistakes, but mistakes is part of success. Sorry for interrupting, but it's very important what you're saying. And I think to take people a bit further in their thinking. Thank you very much, Adam.
Thanks, Barbara.
Thank you for this wonderful question, Ms. Brenda, and wonderful insights, Mr. Adams. This is really, I think many of people who are watching you right now or will be watching you after will be really getting inspired with the wonderful views that you have given. Especially, I was influenced by you in the beginning. First question you said, influence and influenza and spreading like that. It's wonderful things and lots of new things that you have given us today. And now, the next question, Mr. Adams. What do you think now, 2023, new year, new life, new things, what will be your role? Can be foresight. I know we are taking your future now to the present. So can be foresight your role? Your role as an influencer in 2023. What's the special empowerments? What are the things that you are planning to do in 2023 to influence the world?
Oh, well, what I'd like to do, Dr. Sharma, is just accelerate the kind of agreements we've got in place, the people speaking to one another. And it seems very, very childlike, but it seems to be working, and that is bring people of goodwill together to do something positive. Then bring together what's needed, all the technologies and the education, and then finally get someone to pay for it, or or find the people who are willing to support that. And that's what I'll be doing on a global level, because I've been thinking about that and been part of that for decades now. And then on a personal level, I've found that I really need to be, what's the word, embedded? Is that the right word?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that will do. but just grounded. That's the word. Grounded within my own community, because what I've been doing, even in a current job that I have at the moment, I sit down and I sort of like talk into a computer with headphones, and I was doing that for a very, very long time, and I'm now thinking, is there a kind of experience that I can have that might involve carrying sticks of wood around, or might involve labor shoveling something, or might involve working on a building site, just so that I can see people and engage with people, So we look and how they all work. And then if I may qualify that, because one seems absolutely huge and visionary, and then the other is every day, and that's intentional. But the way of linking those things up is, when I mentioned that agreement that was signed earlier, two things came out of that. One was hip hop, which I knew very little about, and the other one was cybersecurity. And I found that two well-placed people within those sectors came to me here in New Zealand, and they wanted to deal with the New Zealand government, or they want to deal with the New Zealand arts industry, or whatever, So that's another thing that I'll be doing, continuing to link up my New Zealand networks and my international networks. Yeah.
Wonderful, Mr. Adam. This, in one way, you are bringing everyone on one platform for the sustainable development, for the bringing empowerment to each and everyone. I hope you will not forget International Institute of Influencers as well, Mr. Adam.
Well, you're in the middle of it. You guys are actually in the middle of it.
That was a great question and a great answer, Adam, because you're right. For the last 2.5 years, we've been in front of screens, and thank God, because I wouldn't have a business without it. But you do lose the grassroots because you're not out and about in your own community. So actually what you said has hit me to the core, and I'm going to make it my mission this year to be do more in my own community. I usually work with the homeless, but I'm going to expand that out this year because I think it's important, because it's something I myself, like yourself, have been stuck behind this, the computer screen. So thank you for just poking me in the side and saying, right, come on, Adam's doing it, Brenda, join him. So you've influenced me already on this show. So watch this space and I will be keeping myself accountable. Okay, we're going to have a game. Do you like games, Adam?
And Miss Brenda,
Yes.
Miss Brenda, he has already influenced me from 2022 first itself. He has already influenced me. I'm already there in his one of the follower of Mr. Adams.
Yes, I know you speak very highly of him, and I can't believe it's taken this length of time to get to speak to you myself, but never mind. We're here now. Anyway, I did ask you, do you like games, Adam?
Oh, yes, certainly.
Okay. So, Dr. Sharma, this is her favourite game. And it's all about the word influencer.
Now we are going to play with Mr. Adams.
Yeah. And it's all around influencer, and it's an acronym. So we want you to come up with a great, inspiring, motivational word that spells out influencer. So, for example, I could be innovation. Are you with me? And N could be nurturing. Are you with me?
I am. Yeah,
don't worry. We can. Look, I love collaboration. We could take it. We could take it in turns, because this is putting you on the spot. But I'm only following Dr. Sham. I'm putting it in her court. Anyway, are you up for that game?
I am. I've actually written something down because I was given a bit of an advance warning. I like the idea of being put on the spot better. Although I have to admit, I did change a couple of letters, but this is it.
It's okay. On you go then.
Sorry, did I interrupt you now? Did I? Sorry.
We're friends, No, that's.
I'm sorry. I totally didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry.
No, please. I never. Ego goes away. We're a group. We're friends. We're working together.
Friends, yeah.
So you just take it away, Adam. Take it away.
Take it away. Okay, thank you. Well, I integrating, N new, F forward, L looking, U utilities, E expressing, N narrating, C core, and E excellence. So I'll read that all together to see how it sounds. Integrating new forward looking utilities, expressing narrating core excellence.
That means
so backing up our words indeed.
That means finally influence is leading to excellence.
Indeed.
Exactly, Dr. Sharma, and that's what I said in my introduction. We're striving for excellence. See, we're on the same wavelength, and that's what gives us the energy and the power to keep going.
Exactly, Miss Brenda. No, finally means like influence, as Miss Brenda in the beginning of her narration, she said directly that leading to excellence, and Mr. Adams has ended influence with excellence. So my dear friends, don't forget, when you are influencing anyone, you are leading them to excellence, which is one of the holistic thing that you are doing. So whether it is a materialistic, whatever you are doing in your life, don't forget to influence people for something good. That is very important for a peaceful life in 2023, especially. People need it badly. Influences with your personality, like how our Miss Brenda, Mr. Adams right now, they all the time exhibit that positive vibes all over the world without any, as Miss Brenda said, no egos. Yes. Ego-free world, my dear friend. Let's go ahead with ego-free world. We don't know when our strong bones become fragile. We don't know the day. The day is just a short span of life. Bones will become fragile. Our skin loses all the collagen, and we come back to that stage. So why ego? Let's be happy and influence the people. So now, Mr. Adams, for you, a last question from me and Ms. Brenda. We want to ask you, what is your views or opinions or your ideas about our work, your impression about International Institute of Influencers' role in influencing the world in the process of humanization of education? Mr. Adams, we need to know your wishes.
Oh, certainly. I'm very happy to share my feedback, because I've always said from the beginning how impressed and honoured, how impressed and inspired I am by your work, and how honoured I am to be in contact with you, Dr. Sharma. And because what you're doing is coming back to what I shared with the citizens, bringing about a parallel UNESCO group, because the United Nations have actually said with climate change, with the pandemic, we need all hands on deck for the planet, not just the people running the show, everybody. So what you're doing is you're creating a platform. And the very important thing about that platform of citizens and connecting people like myself and Brenda, who ordinarily wouldn't have had the pleasure of speaking and meeting, connecting people like us, you're also connecting universities, learning institutions. And in the process of that, education becomes something more than status or prestige or, a sign of an individual accomplishment. Education becomes something that is going to benefit the environment. It's going to benefit the human family now and for the future. Yeah.
We don't have words to thank you, Mr. Adams. This is amazing means for us, listening from you especially. And and definitely we'll follow that and we'll trust this, and we will maintain that same path, the same graph, I can say, same graph, accelerating our energies by the influence of people like you, like Ms. Brenda, who are who are doing lots of ideal work in the society. And we are glad to be associated with such a wonderful people like you here in our organization, Mr. Adams. It's wonderful. So, Ms. Brenda, any special request to Mr. Adams? And, he's into music also.
Oh, well, I think we'll have a conversation about that, Adam. Big musicals in my family.
Yeah,
especially
music. We want to hear from you anything for New Year, Mr. Adams.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, what was the question again?
You're into music. Any one line of any song, anything, any positive, anything from you?
Oh, yes, I will quote John Lennon, and it comes back to what I think people loved about him, as Brenda said, was his honesty, rather than what a great example of a peacemaker, but he also raised the issue that it's all of our responsibility to work together. But he had a wonderful song where he said, say you're looking for some peace and love, the leader of a big old band. You want to save humanity, but it's people that you just can't stand. So that's what it is. Always work on our interpersonal relationships, on our everyday relationships as well, when we're thinking about those bigger ideals. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mr. Adams. Ms. Brenda, concluding remarks from your side.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You finished on a note that I love: emotional intelligence. If we don't understand ourselves, how can we understand other people? And when we start to understand and love ourselves, then it's easier to understand and love everyone else. And I think when you so those brought tears to my eyes there, Adam. Those words are so poignant when you hear them stand alone. And this is why lyricists, they're just poets, they put music to poetry. So thank you for giving me that thought today. I'm going to find those words and put them up, and actually going to contemplate and make sure I live them. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Lovely meeting
Thank
you.
you. Thank you once again, Ms. Brenda, and thank you, Mr. Adams, for honoring the show, for gracing the show, and for gracing our new year, especially. You are the first influencer here in 2023.
Wow.
So, yes, exactly. So I'm sure our program will go in accelerating mode. We will take up that accelerating mode in the 100 Top Global Influencers this year again. And thank you for accepting our invitation and gracing this event today. Thank you once again.
Our founder, director, and CEO of International Institute of Influencers, Dr. Shama Hussain, on the stage.
एक कहानी बताते हैं. I'll tell one story. There were two brothers. One was very rich and the other one was not. So he came to his younger brother and said, मेरे पास Bentley है, मेरे पास Rolls Royce है, मेरे पास Mercedes है, तुम्हारे पास क्या है? So क्या है? So what will be the answer of that boy? मेरे पास vision है.
I believe we are in a day and an age and a time where we're looking for visionaries. We need visionaries that can set the pathway of what our future looks like. To get behind someone that has that type of vision is something I support 110%. And Dr. Shama, you have done that excellently. You have set a vision that all of us inspire to want to walk out.
कि गाड़ी चलाने के लिए पेंसिल सेल डालते हैं, थोड़ा बड़ा हो गया तो पता चला कि उसमें थोड़ा सा और पतला सेल आता है, वो डबल ए होता है. फिर ट्रिपल ए सेल भी मार्केट में आ गया. लेकिन किसी को 5A वाला सेल देखना है तो आप डॉक्टर शमा को देख लो, आपको और कुछ देखने की जरूरत नहीं है. Thank you.
In this beautiful, well-designed and a very powerful program, my heartiest congratulations to Dr. Shama Hussain and to all these very important people. Let's give a big hand to this wonderful set of people.
Thank you so much.
What an honor. What an honor for III.
इंटरनेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ इन्फ्लुएंसर्स ने अमेरिका को इंडिया लेके आ गए, हमारे भारत.
Please welcome Dr. Kuldeep Raina, Vice Chancellor, MS Ramaiah University, Bangalore. Humbly like to welcome our next guest of honor, Dr. Ajay Rana, Director General, Amity University, former Vice Chancellor, Chairman, AUN Labs. We are marking the completion of 1 whole year in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the World Youth Expo 2023.
Their mission and vision is IIS, Humanization of Education, and Edu Startup Expos.
Let me extend my heartiest congratulations to you for launching this beautiful World Youth Expo. Let's give a big hand to this wonderful idea. I think we need everyone's support here. I promise you that Marva Studios, AAFT and International Chamber of Media and Entertainment Industry, the chamber which I'm heading now, is absolutely ready to support you for this vision, for this beautiful idea. We are with you.
We have a 16-year-old young boy from Muscat who is an international motivational speaker, a youth ambassador of III. Please join me in welcoming Ryan Syed.
So everyone, it's an honor to swim and dive and, deep into the ocean of influencers we all got here. Give a thunderous round of applause to these panelists here. Leadership is the ability to change the direction of thought of an individual without applying any force.
Wonderful function today. The spirit behind it is tremendous, immense.
24/7 he's thinking of III, and it is nice to meet all of you